Today, after we talked about all the different kinds of exercises, I actually wanted to do a little bit of demonstration of different things. I get a lot of questions. Well, I shouldn't say a lot of questions, but when I say body weight workouts or medicine ball workouts or things with water bottles, a lot of people feel that's not a good workout. And it actually is right now rated one of the best exercises that you can do for a short amount of time is actually body weight exercises. Because if you think about it, our body carries our own weight all day long. But what we don't think about is that we don't carry it in our arms, we don't carry it in our neck, so we think, well, I'm a little strong, I should be able to carry all this weight, but we're not always using it, distribution through our body. Back to the big thing that we talk about a lot is weight machines. The big push used to be on about 10 years ago. It's coming back into play again. Buy a home unit. Go get a gym membership. They're only 10 minutes. Come in and do a circuit training. We can have you in 20 minutes, just like Curves was. Or if you go into like Planet Fitness now, they have a circuit you can go in. 30 minutes, guaranteed you're going to get healthy. You're going to get thinner. It doesn't work that way. People find out they bottom out. Because remember, any kind of machine that you sit at, it only works in one position. It only has one lever system. If the chest press, it only goes one way. If it's an overhead press, it only goes one way. They might have some variations where it's one arm or that actually changes or up and down. But they don't do a whole range of motion. Your body does not have to stay in control for that. That's like one big problem that we see a lot of times that people use a lot of weight machines or leg machines. They have a lot of back issues, or they can't figure out why their tummy doesn't go down because they don't have to use their core. You sit down on a weight machine, you can relax everything else and push it from the chest. You're sitting on a dumbbell machine, you're just doing this. You sit down on a leg machine, you're kicking one leg out, but you're talking to the neighbor, your arms are down here. So even if you're using that weight machine, are they bad? No, but just remember they do have restrictions. The restrictions placed on them is how they're designed. If you're new at training, yes, it's a great way to get started without hurting yourself, to realize that you don't lift something too heavy and go do a chest press and all of a sudden you rip your shoulder out because you don't know how to control it. So there is a good and bad for them, but just remember they have limitations, just like anything else. A treadmill, anything that we do, riding a bike or riding a motorcycle. Yeah, okay, it's great, we have to have balance, but we don't have to pedal anymore. You ride a regular bike, you gotta pedal. If you walk, you gotta use your whole body. So there's always limitations to what you're doing and kind of know what motion they work in. Body weight exercises, I get a lot of that too, is that people think of body weight exercises as either i.e. too easy or they're only explosive. Well, I can't do jumps, I can't do lunges, I can't do jumping jacks, I don't want to do power squats. That's not really what body weight exercises are. There's a whole set of them that you can do standing, that you can do seated, that you can do lying down, you can do while you're walking. The best thing about body weight exercises are they're cheap. You don't have to have a gym membership, you don't have to buy anything, you don't have to have a huge area, you just got to have yourself. Another thing is that you can get a really hardcore workout in a very small amount of time. The thing with body weight exercises are, it usually incorporates 3/4 of your muscles in your body. If you're doing a full body exercise, you have to use your hips, your back, your core, your shoulders, your head, your arms, because you have to control your whole body. Where if we sit down at a table like Thomas and you just hand him my weight, he can sit there and do a bicep curl all day long, right? With one arm, 10 pounds. You stand up, have him do that same thing when he's got to do a squat, then do a jump, he's got to go down to a sit, he's got to go down to a push-up. Now he's got to incorporate his whole body. They do not have to be high energy. They do not have to be high intensive. They don't have to be high impact. They can be low impact. A lot of the exercises that we do in rehab when we start are all body weight exercises. A lot of times when somebody comes, I have a knee injury or my hip hurts, they look at me funny when I sit them down on the ground and say, okay, we're going to start you out with straight leg raises, toe turned out, hip. Why? I was squatting 500 pounds. I can do a leg extension at 75 pounds a leg. Have them sit down, isolate themselves in the right position, you'll be surprised what they can't do. That's one thing that we do limit ourselves when we do exercises not using our full body weight. We tend to we put restrictions on our hip joints and any kind of flexibility of our ligaments and our tendons. We tend to forget about those. Because again, you're in that straight movement. We don't ever have to straighten that arm all the way. So you do a bicep curl here, you're nice and strong, and next thing you know, you go to grab something like this, and now you've strained your shoulder and your arm. But because you've worked this big muscle belly really hard, but you haven't worried about the flexibility in the shoulder or the elbow joint, or actually all the way up in your chest muscle. Well, when you do body movements, you actually have to go through those different planes to make you use that body. One way too about body movements is you can add slight things to them to make them a little harder. I'm going to go over medicine ball in a second, or even water bottle. People are amazed when we just did it before of how much you can add by this, by adding a small resistance that you can use at your desk when you're walking. Remember, anytime you add just a slight resistance and you have to control it, you're going to get the same amount of movement for it. A lot of times I get to, well, if I do body weight movements, I'm not going to get any stronger. That's not true. You're going to get stronger as the more advanced that you do them, also how many you do them. You have to also look at is what number of strength you need to be at. What do you need to do? Why do you need to bench press 225 pounds? Why do you, hey, I came from the gym, I can do a leg extension, I can do 80 pounds a leg. But I got a tummy out to here. But I can't drive in a car because my back hurts really bad. What good is that for? Functionality. What are you looking for out of your workouts? I want to be faster, stronger, bigger for what I'm doing. Great. I want to be fit. I want to live longer. I'm now in my 40s. What do I need to do that for? Well, when I was 20, I used to be able to, run the 100 and whatever. I used to be able to long jump 20 feet. You can't. Why? What do you need to do that for now? What's it going to do? That's what the hard thing, the mindset is to change it back down. What do I need to do now to make sure that I'm healthy so that I can be fit when I am in my 60s and I'm in my 70s, that I can go climb a mountain, I can go walk the park forever, I can do what I want to do. Those are what we're looking forward to for there. Also, what can we do that helps keep cholesterol down, our hypertension down, our blood pressure? Body weight movements are also great for that. They're a great stress reliever, and they're a great tension reliever to help lower our blood pressure. Because again, when you have to work your full body, you're actually going to have to, your heart rate's going to go up. You have to actually facilitate to your system. It's going to burn off some of that excess, and it's going to help lower that blood pressure. So if a lot of times, if you'll see your big question coming out of my family now because we've had a heart attack in our family, what's cardiac rehab? Well, they can't walk, they can't do, what is it? Right, they're going to start doing breathing exercises. They're going to start using a machine where they're using their arms. They're going to start with small weights where they're sitting down, and this is all they're doing. This is all they're doing from this and that. Because remember, our cardiovascular, from the waist up, anything from the shoulders up, we actually increase the exertion of our heart by 1/3. So we can actually get a nice good heart workout by not having to move. One reason they worry about that is for blood clots. They don't want you to move their legs and stuff that quickly because they might throw a clot. So but they need to get that heart working again. So they use them this way. Same thing works when you do body movements. The more air you bring in, the more carbon dioxide you push out, the more fat that you release. So that's what I kind of work at. Remember body movements. The biggest thing about them too is what I like about them is 3 for 1. You get your heart rate up, you're going to get muscle work done, and you're going to get core work. Because anytime you do a body movement exercise, you have to control your core. Your core, from all the way around your system, is the most important area that we should look at as a whole, because it's where we carry our visceral fat. It's also the area where we have lumbar problems. It's the largest amount of muscle per body, as far as our stomach muscles are our biggest, our lumbar muscles in the back are our second largest, and our hip region. So this is the area that actually keeps the most fat. It's also what keeps us stable. From here to here is what keeps us sitting straight, standing straight, our organs not being compressed down. So yes, it's also the area that we want to look at, that area from here. So I always think it's 3 for 1. It's the healthiest, it's the biggest, gets the most exercise in a short amount of time, and it's also what makes it look the best. So we kind of want to work on that. Anytime you do a body weight exercise, you're always going to have that good form. You're going to remember, as you're lifting and pulling, squats, lunges, side leg movements, lifting your leg, arms overhead, push-ups, sit-ups, side planks, those are all body weight movements. What level you do them at is what you're going to get from. A basic level, you're just going to squat and stand up. You don't add any arms. Your core is still nice and tight, your butt is back. You're still working every part of your muscle, even though you're thinking you're not using your arms, but you got to hold your shoulders back and your head up. So if you would sit here and try to do 50 of these, you're going to get a lot more tired of these than if you sat down and just lifted one leg at a time. We're going to take to a different level. If you want to add a little harder, you can actually down, you can hold it by having to hold a static hold. Now your muscles are engaging, they're firing to hold you in this exact position. From there, one way we say, you're actually increasing the muscle mass without doing a high impact. Now you want power. Well, you know what, I'm getting that. So now you're going to add a little slight jump. You might add a jump to it. You might down and hold. Now you've got a little higher. Now your cardiovascular is going to kick in. So now you can do it in 3 stages. You can do 30 seconds of one, 30 seconds of another, 30 seconds of another one. You can go through a whole 1-minute series or to 2-minute series. That's going to be just as hard as if you consistently ran on the treadmill at a slow pace for 20 minutes. That's how high your heart rate will get. Now, are we maintaining that for cardiovascular? No. We're talking about muscle and strength right now. So, but it works the same way. You also can take that for even higher power. You can take that to a squat with hitting and sitting. You can do it up and down 2 jumps in a row. You can jump over things, up and down over top of boxes from here. Because doing that, you have to hold your core. You also can take that box and you can just step up, step back down. Step up, step back down. The more movement, the more body movement. You can step straight, or you can step over and add a lunge. Left side. We'll go from here. Whatever level you're on is what you're going to get. So with body movements, I hear a lot of times, they're not going to get hard enough. You can incorporate whatever you want, that level. You also can do for upper body, you can do anything that you want, just by lifting your arms out and doing back circles. Try it for a minute. You'll be surprised how hard it is. And go forward. Big circles. I get a lot of times people, we do things that we do out here. If we're walking and I have them just hold their arms up at 90 degrees the whole time we're walking, one lap, they're going, oh my gosh, my neck. Think about it. We're at a machine, 12 lifts, we let go. 12 more reps, we let go. Not getting that constant motion. So there's pros and cons to both. But the biggest thing with body weight exercises too is you can do them anywhere. You can move them down. If you have hip problems, you have leg problems, you can do them on the ground. You can use your own body weight. We do a lot of this stuff with training. Straight leg lifts. Everybody, when they're done, try sitting straight up. See how high you get your leg. This is your core the whole way up. Most people, when they first start that, they're amazed. They're from here like, oh, I can't get it up. Because we don't look at what kind of flexibility we have. All these things matter. You can do single leg lift. Now I'm working my butt for one leg. You can do them both down. You can take that to a high. You can do it to a pop. Up from here. You can do straight hops. You can do straight hops. Straight up. You can do donkey kicks in and out. You turn it over, same thing. Body weight workout. You're going to walk it out. You walk it straight in. You can walk it out and jump. You can up at the top. You can do whatever level you want. You can go back down. You can do leg, leg, straight up. You can drop, up. If that's too hard on your core, you can take your knees. You still can go one arm, tricep down. You can put straight out to the side, slide it out. You can change up any way you want. There are so many different things you can do that people don't even think of. On the website, well, on the G Drive on the left, there's 50 bodyweight exercises in there. With all the 50, they have how you can increase them. Good look at. Does anybody use these yet? At all? What do you use them for?
For flexibility, side turns.
Perfect. I'm glad you said that. Because everybody always thinks that, well, it's not heavy enough. It's not an exercise. It's great for flexibility. It's great for weight, weighted flexibilities and turns with strength. Anybody else know it's a great thing for these?
You could get over a knee pad.
Right?
Small.
I sit-ups too.
Great sit-ups.
Stretches.
Trigger point release.
Lactic acid.
Lactic acid buildup, exactly the same thing. Anybody ever use these for trigger point releases?
No.
If you're like me that can't afford a massage person every other week, these are amazing. These in tennis balls. When I saw these in here, that's one of the things that people miss the most. Of course, talk about weighted exercises. This is a great thing too to add. Because using a medicine ball, you have to hold your core. You have to have the motion for it. Like Tom said, you're using it for flexibility. It's great over that shoulder. Make sure you have a medicine ball that's not too heavy. I recommend women, you start about 6 pounds, but not too light. You want to make sure it's not heavy enough that if you get to here, you can't control it, and it's going to go back. The biggest thing I see wrong with medicine ball is that people let go their hips. That's hard on your spine. That's not working. Remember, with any exercise that you use, no matter what you're doing, your core is tight. Your belly's in tight, your back's tight. Even if it's a golf swing, even if it's a pitcher, even if we're working on pitching swings, even though they're bending through for their core, they're still holding tight. They're not letting that bat go and flying, and they might, because then they have back problems, but you want to work on that. Huge thing like you said with, especially pro golfers. They do so much training now with medicine balls, body weight, and weighted golf clubs. What's crazy is that they use the weighted golf clubs the opposite direction that they swing. Because they get so overworked on the one way, they're out of balance. They used to go for a lot of strength training, now they're going back to that. It's kind of cool. But I love these as far as for trigger point. Mine at home with my best friend after doing football and tug of war. My whole hip was so torn. Just like you get that part, we don't think about a flexibility. These are great thing to do. You're gonna sit on it.